Well, so far so good. There's my little guard. Here's the cartridges here. These 3 tomato plants will go in. And these will be my composting tomato planters. I'm gonna take them apart and get the last of the dirt out of there. I'm gonna plug all these little holes as well with some other plastic. I'm gonna have some composting worms in here, and I don't want the worms dropping down into the water reservoir and drowning. It might smell bad. Although it would release nitrogen for the tomato plants, but no, it seems a little barbaric. So I'll just, yeah, so the tomato plants will just poke a root down into the part of the soil that's underwater, and then it'll have all the water it needs. Then I'll hook up my automatic watering system. Then it's fire and forget. Put it together, and then just secure the vines to the trellis as they go up, and then basically just come and pick the tomatoes. Good times. Well, I just wanted to talk about that that video that I put together on Steemit. And basically, a lot of our MGTOW brothers, well, several of them, were complaining that Steemit is difficult to sign up to, and they were saying that they didn't want to provide their email address and actual phone number to Steemit, and I can fully understand that, especially with what Facebook has just done to our friggin' privacy. I mean, it was pretty obvious. These are, by the way, these are my automatic watering devices. These things are a little, they got a little rubber diaphragm in here, low pressure water supplied here, cup here, and then basically when the water comes up into the cup, it pressurizes the this hose into a chamber here, and then it closes a diaphragm off on the water coming in, so that shuts it off until it evaporates down enough to allow the pressure to allow the water in. Good times. So back to what I was saying, though. It's my opinion that well, it's not really my opinion, it's fact, that if you want to have privacy, and I am a huge fan of privacy, the last thing I want is a bunch of feminists out front picketing my friggin' house. Hey, ho, ho, Vention MGTOW's got to go. But basically, it's very important to have some anonymity in our lives. The more the better, really, when we're online, unless you really need to be, you know, up front. So there's a couple of ways of doing it, and basically any service you sign up for, they're going to want everything. They're going to want your social security number and your email and your phone number and pictures of your dick and pretty much everything, man. Pretty soon we'll have, I mean, some of these cell phones have retina scanners. So you basically come really close with your eye, and then they take a picture of the inside of your eye to identify you. And I don't know, guys. I'm not liking where this is going. Saw a picture or a part of a video. Actually, I just saw the preview that showed, I think it was Wham, World Alternative Media or something, was giving a story about people getting tickets for jaywalking if they jaywalk, and they use facial recognition cameras, and then they send the bill to your cell phone number or some shit like that. And not liking that. I don't like the direction this is going in. And in order to fight back and claw back a little bit of anonymity in your life, there's multiple things you can do. You know, you can of course get into Bitcoins. Now everybody's moaning that Bitcoins are going down, 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 and they are. They really are. But they are a form of wealth, basically, that governments can't just reach out and confiscate, right? Without pretty much everything else, they can contact whatever organization or corporation is holding your wealth, like your bank or your brokerage or your IRA or whatever, and they can just say, hand over Vention's money, all of his money to us, and here's the court order, and thank you very much, right? And it's just a nasty business. And then suddenly I've heard of many MGTOWs who have had their checking accounts just emptied by the family court system, for example. And then suddenly all the prepaid or the payments that they have scheduled suddenly start bouncing, and then they start getting $10, $15, $15, $20, $15 fees, and that puts you like a couple of $1,000 underwater on your friggin' checking account. So your next paycheck, it's totally gone, and if it goes above zero, they'll hit you again and next month, and it's just a real fiasco. But if a guy happens to have some Bitcoins that basically he hasn't told his wife about, and for God's sakes, if any of you are married, stop buying Bitcoins online with credit cards. The only way for you to buy Bitcoins is to buy them in person with cash, using like the Mycelium Wallet's you know, purchasing thing. You can, if I understand, I mean, it's been a while, but they have like the ability to go to a local market and meet people at coffee shops, and that's the way to go. Local Bitcoins might work. They might not hit your account, but if you're going to hook up to local Bitcoins, I would use bogus information like an anonymous email and a burner cell phone number. Now, they don't make it easy to do this. I mean, you have to take some time and trouble to make it happen, and if you're not computer literate, you're going to have to spend twice as much effort to get it done. So what I do for anonymous email, I got an account at a place called Proton Mail, and it's an encrypted, very, very private, highly encrypted email server. It's in Sweden, I think it is, and you can set up an account, and you don't need another email address. But if you do need another email address, just do a search for like temporary email address, and you'll be able to make an email address that will last like 30 minutes or something on various different servers, and that is good enough for email verification. But you're going to probably want something more permanent as well, so you can get updates on an account, like if you have local Bitcoins or something. So I would definitely you know, look at these temporary email services and make sure you get them on your favorites in your browser. And I would look into Proton Mail and see if you can open an email account there. It's been about 3 years since I opened my account, but I believe they're still doing the same thing. And also, if you want a burner phone or a burner text messaging app, my favorite is Groove IP, and it's like GROO capital V E and then space IP, and I have the Pro. So basically, you have to either, if you're going to get a burner number, you're either going to have to handle and wade through all the pop-ups and advertisements and all that to pay for the app, or if you have your payments enabled on the App Store, you can just buy the Groove IP and buy some points for it, and then you can open a number that is like from some other state or something, and that will allow you to verify these text message things, right? So, and it wouldn't withstand a full-blown criminal investigation, but it will withstand enough of the, I mean, it's private enough so that your identity is mostly protected from these big like personal information aggregating and selling and thieving databases, right? Like Facebook, for example. So, first thing I would do if I were you guys, go to protonmail.com or .ch, I think it is. Start a Proton Mail account, right? And then go either download a burner text and phone app, or just a text app, and either wade through the advertisements or pay for it like I did, and then get yourself a phone, a burner phone, and the burner phone app. So then, and the cool thing is, if your regular phone service ever gives out on you, you've got a backup. You can, like for example, I could call people from Cambodia in the States with no problem using that burner phone app, you know, as well as I have a Magic Jack account that I use for my home security system here, and if you and basically it calls my phone if one of these sensors detects that a door opens when it's set, right? And so basically you can get an app to have your Magic Jack or access your Magic Jack phone from your cell phone as well. And I was calling people from Cambodia with with that Magic Jack app. So I just thought I would throw that out there. Get a burner phone app, and get a Proton Mail account or some other anonymous email account, and then go back to Steemit and open that account, and basically then you'll have access to a pretty much censor-proof platform. Now, I've never tried BitChute, and I'm not sure how censorable it is, or is it censorship? How censorship-resistant is that? So I'll be probably investigating that, but I think pretty much my home for the next, you know, while, at least while they're shooting MGTOW channels like ducks in a shooting gallery, you know, those little toy ducks, and closing channels right and left like they are. I think it's going to be safer for me to put the majority of my more controversial videos on Steemit, so, and DTube. And by the way, if you have trouble downloading a DTube or accessing a DTube video, just go back to Steemit, and down at the bottom of the video window, there's going to be two little links, right? And one of them says IPFS, which stands for, you know, Internet Protocol File System, right? And you can click on that, and it'll take you to the page, and then you can download the video manually. And if it just sits there freezing up, that means the network is kind of slow. So you can just start the download and wait a little while, and the video will download. Then you can watch it from your hard drive, you know. So I would highly recommend that you guys, I mean, I think every MGTOW needs some anonymity online, and a burner phone number and a burner or an anonymous email address. That is like basic tools. You've got to have that. Then of course it's a good idea to get a virtual private network account, preferably one that you can buy with Bitcoins, and there are several that you can. And then you're vastly ahead of like 98% of people online. So and this is basically the super duper elites, right? What they do is they set traps for stupid people, basically. And like, for example, the economic system, right? The stupid or not very bright people are putting money into the stock market right now. And those people are just, they're just going to get a brutal treatment over the next couple of years. Because every 8 to 10 years, they pull the plug on the economy, and then the whole thing comes crashing down. Then everybody's really bearish, like they were back in 2012, and then they don't invest when the price is like really low, and then the result is only the super big banker types get those really cheap stocks at that point. Whereas, and then basically, once things really start getting going, it's about already halfway recovered. That's when the sheep will start putting the money back in, right? And then, of course, they get another haircut about 10 years later. And of course, all of this know your customer rules and all of these things where they know exactly, if you let a fart online and the elites, have any curiosity, they can immediately know who you are, and they can say, oh, Vention's been acting up a little bit, let's just send a squad over and pick him up, And but basically, if you take care of some anonymity, if you're pretty anonymous, then it would take a lot more effort on their part to finally track you down. And if you're not important, like me and most of us, then you won't get any trouble, right? But if you're making a little bit of trouble and they know exactly who you are, they can cause trouble for you too, right? But if you make a little bit of trouble and they don't know who you are, generally they don't care enough to bother really digging. So anonymity is important, but it's another important thing is to be irrelevant to them. Like little guys like me, they don't even begin to care about people like me. They just if I do a little bit of what they do, as far as like buying, like when I bought the house here at the absolute bottom back in 2012, and then bought precious metals going into 2008 to take care of to profit from these larger economic cycles, the business cycle they call it, the 8 to 10 year cycle. Then they don't really care, but because I'm not a threat to them, I'm just sort of eating I'm picking up a few of the little scraps that the super elite have been harvesting for like the last 100 years or so with the way they have their economic cycles set up. So basically, being irrelevant is a very good thing for me. When the forces that are aligned against us are so tremendously powerful, it's a good idea to be unnoticeable, as anonymous as you can, not very loud, but if you are aware of what these people are doing, you can profit from it. So yeah, and doing that, having a little bit more on the ball, that's one of the big things that MGTOW is all about. We're into the whole MGTOW thing so that we have less trouble and we have a better, lower stress, more peaceful, more stable, and vastly more prosperous life than we otherwise would have. So money is a big part of that. Avoiding trouble is another big part of that. So I would highly recommend getting a burner email and a burner cell phone number. So that's about it. And don't get married.